This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
Scooba-da-boo-ba-da-ba-doo-ba-bow.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for All Stars 11, Episode 8, titled Rappin' Roast Redux. My name's Joe Batanz, and I am joined, as always, by our very own Black Nubian princess from the podcast pod. From the podcast pod is my co-pilot. Please say hello, hello, hello to Taylor the Latte Boy. Hello, Taylor.
Wakanda forever.
I know. Well, look, happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
To you, Taylor the Latte Boy.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
It's a dumb question to ask since Taylor and I just talked for 18 minutes over at Just Between Us Girls, which you can listen to over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia and subscribe at the executive level and above. Also, you can just get it on Apple. I'll be honest with you, the Apple one's not a bad deal. If you don't care, we have a ton of other great content. And I'm going to be honest with you, the other content is fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic right now. And you get all that. But if you're like, I don't care. I don't need to know about Lori needing startup borders. It's more Rogaine. I don't need any of that, right? I just need Just Between Us Girls and the main recap show early with no commercials. Well, you can do that for like $6-ish a month over on your Apple. And it's easy. Just go to Apple Podcasts, just scroll up and subscribe. Do that right there. Anyway, Taylor, how the hell are you? Well, we already talked about that. So Just Between Us Girls. Anything we should know before we take a break and then get into the episode? And
No, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I think that
no Disney things or anything like that.
My husband went to. He's actually not here right now. He's driving home, so he'll probably come in while we're taping this. But they do a thing once a month in Orlando called Once Upon a Magic Market, which is sort of local vendors that have Disney wares that they want to sell, and they do a theme every month. Last month's was Star Wars. This month's is It's a Small World. So I have no idea what he's going to come home with, but it's supposed to be, I guess, It's a Small World themed.
I might need to go to Disneyland because I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you're aware of this because why would you be aware of this? But the one of the fundamental differences that people always talk about between Disney World and Disneyland is that Disneyland is more of a place for locals. And so a lot of the people who go to Disneyland are pass holders, where you're not having as many pass holders at Disney World.
Right.
It's mainly for like tourists, you know? And so I'm at the highest tier level pass.
Oh.
Right.
Color me impressed.
So all but the 2 highest tiers are basically locked out of the park. And actually all but the highest tiers are locked out on Saturdays of the park right now through like the summer.
Okay.
And so what they're reporting right now is that the park is essentially has been, especially during the week, empty.
Yeah.
And so we were like, look at this. Look, Guardians. It's like I'm walking on to Guardians in the middle of the day. So I'm going to take advantage of that.
I've never seen gay days so empty as we did this year. We're going to talk about it this week on Pod as my co-pilot in more detail because my one co-host who went is going to be there. But it was walking around. We rode a bunch of new rides or refurbished rides, and the longest we had to wait for anything was like 90 minutes. And everything else was, the new Grogu, Mandalorian and Grogu Millennium Falcon thing, we literally walked onto it.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah, which I would have thought there would have been at least a little bit of a line, but no.
Maybe I'll go on like a Tuesday or Wednesday this week and see what happens. I don't usually, when I go by myself, though, I don't usually go on a ride. And so, we'll find out. It's lonely being at the top because all my friends who do have passes all have the lower one, so they can't even go.
Plebes.
Yeah, sorry. I'll wave to you from the Dumbo. All right. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we'll actually talk about this episode. As people who know me might be able to predict, I have a lot of thoughts, particularly about one part in particular, and not the roast. Do you know what it is, Taylor?
No.
Need a laptop that's built to perform and designed to last all day? Select Windows 11 PCs starting at $499.99 are now at Best Buy. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Systane Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
And we are back. This week, the girls spill the tea on each other for this week's mini challenge. For the maxi challenge, the girls participate in a roast delivered as raps. On the runway, category is Ladies Who Lunch. On the main stage, Kennedy Davenport and Hershey LaCourgette were named the top 2 All-Stars of the week, forcing them to face off in a lip-sync battle for the extra point. In the end, Kennedy won the lip-sync, the extra point, and an important advantage in the competition. Taylor the Latte Boy, name 2 things you liked about the episode and 1 thing you did not.
I always like the mini game. I think that is a fun mini game that when they bring it in, it's everybody seems to have a good time. Nobody seems too offended. Everything just it's a fun thing. So I'm glad for that. And that actually kind of folds into the other thing that I like was that this episode was more enjoyable to watch than the previous couple of them because there was very little points talk in this one compared to the other ones. It seemed like there was a lot more fun shade being thrown at each other. There was a little bit more reading happening. So in that regard, it was more enjoyable to watch versus if I give you my point, will you give me your point? And so is this an alliance? And I've got an alliance with this one. I've got an alliance with that one. I don't need to hear any of that. And that's kind of addressed at one point. That's sort of addressed in Untucked. They talk about that. They talk about stuff.
You watch Untucked?
I watch Untucked just in case. Especially after the Selena meltdown, I was like, well, we have to watch Untucked at this point.
Yeah.
The thing that I did not like, well, there are 2 things, but one I think we're going to talk about at length later. Mm-hmm. This Sam Star. I cannot stand Sam Star. Sam Star, and part of it is she reminds me of somebody in my life that I really kind of don't like. So I think that's part of it.
Who?
No. The other thing...
Will you tell me off the air?
No. The other thing...
Do I know this person?
No.
Oh, okay. Then that's better. All right.
The other thing is she is committing a cardinal sin on Drag Race, as far as Drag Race recap rules go, in that she is doing a lot of, in the workroom, talking directly to the camera. Mm-hmm. She did it in Untucked a couple of times. She's done it on the main show. And it's giving very Vanjie behavior.
Yeah. That
I don't care for. We should be observers that the only time that she talks to us is in the confessional. You
don't want her breaking the fourth wall.
I don't want I don't want any of them breaking the fourth wall. Unless you do like the real quick look at the camera and then look back. But otherwise, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. What about you? What are two things you liked and one thing you didn't?
I was expecting worse on the Rappin roasts. So the fact that they weren't atrocious.
Okay.
there weren't any that were atrocious. I'll say that.
No.
There weren't any that were atrocious. They were all fine, right? At least. So I like that. I also liked, I don't want to repeat any of yours. I also liked, I'm not even trying to be shady here. I'll say, I liked, oh God, this is really a cop out here, but I'll just say this. I liked the interesting sort of directing that was done in this episode to make it feel like there were different scenes taking place. What I mean is, to give a little bit of a film history lesson, one of the most brilliant things about the movie 12 Angry Men, which is about a jury, and you're in the jury room as they're deciding the fate of this man, is it's a 2-hour movie, but the directing is so good that you don't realize that they're in the same room the whole time. The way the directing does is they make it feel like little moments are their own scenes. So it feels like you're in different places, even though you're in the same room, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing here where they filmed this all, when you look at the logic, in one day.
Yeah.
The whole thing was shot in one day. And the way they make it feel like it was a bunch of different days was really smart. Good directing on this episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Even because the workroom was really just one workroom segment, but they divided it by moving them around to different locations as if there were different moments and days. In other words, they usually have table visits, or they'll go to the main stage, or they'll do this, they'll go here, they'll go there. They didn't do that here. They pretty much stayed in the same room, but they made it feel like there were 3 independent scenes or set pieces that took place. Okay. That's my other compliment. The thing I didn't like, and I'm not going to go too into detail about this because we're going to talk about it later. Everything having to do with the lip sync. The song choice, the performance of this song, the selection of this song. I already said that. The reaction from the internet to this song, everything having to do with this lip sync, did not like. And this is coming from like a Sondheim fan and nerd and whatnot. And so, yeah.
That makes sense to just because I know how much you love Sondheim. Mm-hmm. So I have thoughts as well.
But by the way, just so people just a little bit of a preview. This is not like, oh, how dare you desecrate Sondheim. There's a little bit of criticism of the general work of Sondheim actually in this critique as well. Sondheim's not coming out unscathed himself, right? But we'll discuss that at the lip sync. All right, very good. After the lip sync, the girls return to the workroom to decompress, de-drying, and distribute their points. After some hesitation on Kennedy's part, the bottom 4 girls all swap points. Later, Jasmine pesters the other girls about who won the previous lip sync, and Sam feels attacked. The next day, the girls walk into the workroom ready for the day's challenge. The queens continue to come for Sam, but also justify their feelings about who should have won the lip sync. All this happened before RuPaul entered the workroom to explain this week's mini challenge. For this week's mini challenge, the girls used paddles to answer superlatives about their fellow queens. In the end, Joey J and Sugar Cane were named the winners of the mini challenge. Let's stop right here. Let's talk about everything first that happened after that elimination when they were distributing the points, and then everything that happened in the workroom about Sam and Jasmine and the lip sync. What were your thoughts here, Taylor?
I think the distribution of the points where it looked like Kennedy didn't know who she was going to give it to. Yeah. That was good television, because you thought like, oh shit, she's gonna screw Sugar over. Yeah. And then to give it to her, I don't know if that was trying to make good television, if that was genuinely she wasn't sure what she was going to do. I don't know, but Sugar in the confessional going, she didn't have to do that. She really didn't have to do that was kind of funny. But I mean, it makes sense that they're all going to give each other their points at this point, especially after Sugar's the one that said we should make it so everybody should get a point so that nobody has 0 points on the board right now, like trying to be congenial and that sort of stuff. So for her to go through that, you can see she sort of had a look on her face where she's like, I'm smiling, but I'm thinking to myself, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah, but then that's sort of what renders this. It's because this happened with All Stars when they had the previous All Star rules, right? Which is the show doesn't, and this is a smart thing on the show's part. The show doesn't give any parameters for how these points are to be distributed. Okay. Same thing with the show didn't give any parameters about how to choose who you're going to put, whose lipstick you're going to choose. Right. And so they give no parameters. And so what happens over time is through precedence, rules are developed. It's almost like watching like a little microcosm of a country developing, you know, where it's like, oh, well, this is because of precedent. This is how it's always done. And we're seeing a precedence develop that I don't think necessarily bodes well for this format, because now it's going to be, well, then what's the point? Right? Why not just have RuPaul give them all 1 point and save time?
I don't see a world where this format survives more than one more season, because everybody's kind of figured it. The queens have all seemed to have cracked the code as far as how to play the game. So there isn't. I can't see any ways that there's really any way to innovate other than when. Which was the queen that won and somebody gave her a point anyway? Was that Akira?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to turn my computer on mute. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, the way that because people are also afraid of not getting a point.
Yeah.
The show, people are afraid to do anything till the final episode. Final episode, they can get ugly. I bet you if this was episode 3, Kennedy would not have given the point to Sugar.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing really Sugar can really do at that point. There's no way Sugar can hurt her unless it's in the final point. But she's, at that point, it's a little easier. Yeah. That's why you see people are bolder on that final point. But I don't know. There's something about it. Any other thoughts on the point distribution and everything that happens there?
No.
I want to talk about Sam Starr a little bit.
Okay.
Let's first talk about how she comes in and she's just gloating about winning. It's like, girl, especially episode 1, do not gloat, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's acting like she won the whole competition. She thanks America, and I think she's being half funny, but I wasn't laughing. And I want to talk to you because I can't remember this queen's name, or I shouldn't say queen. I can't remember this person's name. And I feel you do, but we've talked about him. But there's something, especially when she's in boy drag in her confessionals, she looks like that one porn star who is straight. I haven't seen him in years. He must be retired. I don't know what he's doing. He was straight and is always in trouble for beating up his girlfriends and shit like that.
Johnny Rappin.
Thank you. She looks like Johnny Rappin.
She does kind of look like Johnny Rappin.
You're giving, right. Or it's only very specifically when she's in confessional, in boy drag, that I'm like, especially with the stupid accent and all that, she's giving Johnny Rappin. Whatever happened to Johnny Rappin?
I don't. Well, the beating up his girlfriend, that kind of killed his career to a degree. But for reasonable gays, but there are a lot of gays who would like be not into that, but they were like, there's a lot of gays who are very pick me, and they're very like, leave him alone. You don't know the whole story or whatever. And I'm like, you can tell Johnny Rappin's a horrible person. I don't think he's a horrible person. I think he's probably got about 6 brain cells in his head. But career,
I'm surprised, especially since he was straight, that he couldn't make the jump to. Well, I guess he's too twinky.
He made his debut in both bisexual and straight porn in 2022.
Okay.
And then, but that's really kind of. It doesn't really. I'm assuming he's still working.
You know what's so funny is, sorry, it's time for porn talk with Joe and Taylor. So when I was, whenever this guy was popular, 2005 or whatever, I was a huge fan of this porn star named Brent Everett. Okay.
Yes. You've talked about Brent Everett before.
Right. And then he got older, right? He got in this awkward older stage where he was still trying to stay a twunk or whatever. And he looked really gross. And I was like, ooh, right? Ew. I was like, no. But then out of curiosity, I looked him up recently. He's shed that. I think he's drug free now. He looks fucking hot. He is so fucking hot now that I think he's in his early 40s or late 30s. He looks so fucking hot, like better than he's ever looked before. He is insanely hot right now. There was an awkward phase where he looked really weird and I wasn't into it. And now he is just chef's kiss. Good job, Brent Everett.
So Johnny Rappin still has a website, a porn website, and you can buy all of his videos for like $15 each.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I was never that into him.
No, I was never really into him either. So, and now he's got we're 33 and we have the long hair and we wear it in like a man bun.
I hate to break it to you. I don't think he's older than 33.
He started in like 2010. So you figure that was like 16 years ago. And he was like fresh out of, like, he was like 18. Well, no, if it was 26, that means that was 16 years ago. If he's 33, that would have put him at 17. So we're assuming that he's 18.
Okay, so we're assuming he's 18, and we're just assuming first day of 18, he went into porn. So at the very minimum, he's like 33, 34.
Right.
Interesting. Anyway, all right. Also, too, so so let's talk about that discussion about whether he won the lip sync. I don't remember thinking who won the lip sync. I have to let me look at my previous notes. Hold on. I have that's what the value of keeping all your notes handy is.
I remember saying I thought Jasmine won the lip sync.
I might have said that. Let me just look here. Oh, I said I have no thoughts. So
right.
I think they were both kind of just mid.
We did describe it as a very mid lip sync. But
I was gonna say he kept saying like, well, you might be saying that, but just it's RuPaul's decision. It's RuPaul's decision.
And that's really where it should have ended.
Yeah. And but I'm like, listen, cunt, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say that when he doesn't go, well, maybe he might go forward, but if she doesn't go forward back, it's RuPaul's decision. It's RuPaul's decision. I don't know. A Pepsi's a Pepsi. What do you mean? You know what I'm talking about there?
I love Pepsi. I love all kinds of Pepsi.
That's Britney Spears.
Britney Spears, yeah. When she had the contract with Pepsi.
Yeah. But on the other hand, though, why the fuck is Jasmine going around to every single fucking queen and asking them if she won the lip sync?
Well, because one person said it, so now she's decided she's going to go around and again, they're looking to do something to make television, and I think that was probably I could see a producer saying, "Go ask the other ones if they think you won the lip sync or not."
So this continues into the next day when they come in. And they're continuing the conversation. And Sam's like, I just need someone to come in and take me under their wing. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. Why the fuck? You are a grown-ass man. Why did someone need to take you under their wing?
Right. Who made it to the top 4 of their season.
Yeah.
This isn't like Joey or Hershey that were like one of the other ones out that said, I would love if somebody could give me some tips. You talk all the time about I need someone to take me under their wing. Your drag mother is Trinity. Trinity the Tuck.
Good point. And her godfather's Charles Barkley.
Right. So
Yeah.
why do you need
have two
Sugar
great
Cane
wings.
to take you under your wing? Under
You're
her
not a
wing.
baby. You're
Right.
not a baby. You've been through this. You went through the top almost. Was she in the top? Was she in the finals?
She was in the top 4. Yeah.
Okay, she was in the top 4. Trinity the Tuck is your, drag mother. Like, girl, you don't need someone to take you under their wing. You have wings, right? Now it's
Yeah.
time to fly. And so just
Out of here.
Get out of here, right? I know somebody. I gotta be careful what I say. I know somebody who they were like, they're trying to get into show business. I'll just say that very loosely.
Mm-hmm.
And they were complaining to me. They're like, why are there no one to take me under their wing? And I go, you're 50 years old.
Yeah.
This person was like, I need a mentor. Mentor? You're the mentor.
Right. You're the one that should be knowing all this shit by now.
What do you think of this mini challenge? You liked it, huh?
I like the mini challenge. Yeah. I think
liked
it's
it. It's
fun.
only went too long.
It did go a little long. You're right. It did go, but I don't think there was a lot. They were using all the time they could with it.
Yeah.
I think it's something that I know that I've said on the flagship series that I would like for them to do every season. I think there's a very strong argument that it could replace the reading challenge.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
I thought it was too long.
Did they do a reading challenge this last season? For season 18?
I didn't go to school for math.
I didn't go to school for fucking math.
Oh, I didn't go for school. I didn't go to school for fucking math.
Fucking math.
I don't know. Girl, like that episode goes in my brain. I'm all about that episode for that week, and then it moves on. I never think about it again.
Well, I know I heard one of the mini challenges nobody won and they gave the money to the crew. I did hear about that.
That was a while ago. Hold on for a second. You know what? This is where now I can use my Chat GPT brain to let's see if it works here. Let's see here. I gotta go to season 18 Drag Race. Let me see. Go in here. Was there a reading challenge in? We talked about my use of AI. On the rumor mill, I said, look, I use it as a tool, but not. Oh, yes, it did have a reading challenge. It took place in episode 10 before the main challenge. RuPaul introduced a traditional reading as fundamental mini challenge, and the queens read each other in the workroom. The challenge was generally considered stronger than some recent seasons, with several queens landing memorable reads. The winner of the reading challenge was Mikey Meeks.
Okay.
There you go. But that's what I'm saying. This is where I was talking about how I don't even know if I got to finish my point in rumor mill. That's what rumor mill is. But I was like, I've backed away from generative AI for the moment, you know. But I definitely use ChatGPT and AI just for organization and helping the show in terms of behind the scenes tools, you know.
Yeah.
There was and this actually leads to another discussion we can just have now because it's kind of a thing where life is so crazy you can't even use parody. But I thought for this bracket, it would be really funny to bring back Mr. Blackstone and have Mr. Blackstone only praising Sam, Jasmine, and Joey J. You know?
Yeah.
And I didn't because I'm trying to back away from as much generative AI as possible. You know? But what's really sad is I went today to the Reddit discussion about the episode.
Yeah.
And it's just the caucasity is real over there, where everybody is so upset that they think Jasmine and Sam and Joey J, not Sam, no one likes Sam actually, not even the white people, but everyone there thinks that Joey J and Jasmine Kennedy walk on water, that they should be in the top 2, that they were robbed this week, that maybe you feel that, but like that someone's like, it's becoming clear Joey J is not going to be in the top 2, and I'm really upset about this. I'm like, did anyone think Joey J was going to be in the top 2?
No.
Yeah, like the discussion is over there, and I was like, man, this is beyond what Blackstone would say.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know if they're aware of it themselves. All right, let's move on. In the workroom, the girls get to work on their Rappin roast. Joey celebrates her first roast. Sugar plans to play nice, but with a sting. Meanwhile, Sam senses a target on her back. Later, the girls hold a kiki on the couch to determine the roast order. Finally, the girls get ready for the maxi challenge. Kennedy shares her signature seasoning. Hershey feels some type of way about missing her daughter's graduation. Finally, Jasmine tries to make amends with Sam's star. Okay, let's start. Like I said, there's 3 different little set pieces in this whole segment. So let's start first when the girls are just working on their roast. Did you have any big thoughts here?
I thought this was sort of the beginning of what I was talking about, in that the conversations were about the roast and they were sort of throwing things back and forth at one another across the tables, versus there's 2 of us sitting here and nobody can hear what we're saying, so let's talk about points. Let's try to figure out what we're doing with the points. So that was, I feel like there was a couple of times during that we chuckled at things that were said.
Yeah, I don't really have any notes from it. It was just kind of just banal, just like, oh, we're working on a roast. Let's go to the discussion about the order. Once again, guys, on a roast, it's not a comedy show. I think everybody knows this. It's better to go first. And I have receipts. Your husband just got home. I have receipts to back this up but let's talk about it first. But there's a moment I want to talk about is Hershey says she wants to go first. And everyone laughs. They're like, this dummy. She wants to go first. What did you think about this?
I whenever they talk about this with these roasts, I always think about you talking about this on the show, saying you want to go first because you want to get the jokes in before anybody else can.
Yes.
And you want to, you sort of are the one that kind of sets the attitude of the stage, kind of sets the scene, gets everybody riled up. So the Hershey laughing, everybody laughing at Hershey, I didn't really pay as much attention to that, but I thought that this was,
Hershey won.
Well, yeah, but it feels like I can only imagine the producers watching this and everybody playing so nice and figuring it out so fast that the producers went, like nobody fought for a spot. Nobody was arguing over anything. It was just, it was very, you want this, you want this, you want this. Yeah, I don't care. Just put me wherever. Okay, so this is it. This one's going first, second, third, fourth. We've seen, whether it's, in the last bracket with, somebody wanting to sing, Silky wanting to sing the one song, and then Selena and April doing this. There was nothing like that with this one. So it was a little like, that was 45 seconds I'll never get back.
Yeah, kumbaya here. It's probably why that mini challenge had to go so long. So anyway, to back up what I said, like arguably, when the roasts were a big thing at Comedy Central, the big star was Lisa Lampanelli. She always went last because she was like the roast master general, right? Roast mistress general.
Yeah.
Well, I have a clip of her on some interview or podcast or something where she talks about this very topic. It's only 45 seconds long. I took out a part where she talks about like stupid shit and not relevant. So it's shortened for editorial reasons. But here you go.
But also what I resented too, they used to make me go last all the time.
Right.
Because I was so powerful. And then with the Trump one, I go, I don't want to come back and do roasts if I'm not going first. Like, I need to just go first once and have fun.
Yeah, why is that? Why is first the coveted?
Because all your jokes are going to be fresh. Like, if I joke about Hasselhoff's, when he was a big hit in Germany. Like, remember, he was only really famous in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
If my first joke is the German one, if I have the first German joke, the rest are going to suck compared to mine. So they're all going to land a little less.
Right.
So I'm like, no, I want the first crack. So then we did that one. I was like, okay, I think I'm done with this.
There you go. Lisa Lampanelli herself saying the easiest one is the first one, not like stand-up. That's coming from a club perspective where you want to get everyone liquored up. So no one's going to laugh at first. So when you go to a comedy club, the first spot you take the bullet, so to speak, that's the way it's the host or like a special guest feature kind of thing, is because like when the host, that's why the host at a comedy club always does 5 to 10, because during that time, people are still sitting down, they're looking at their menus, they're ordering, they're not paying attention, they're not ready.
Right.
Then they've ordered, but now they're not liquored up. So that's when the person who's doing another 10 minutes after that goes. Then by the time the featured's there, they have their drinks. They've drank a little bit. That's 20 minutes he's going to do. And so by the time the headliner's ready, they're all primed up and ready to go and ready to laugh. You know? And that's why you do it that way. Anyway, go ahead.
If anything, it makes me respect Lisa Lampanelli even more because having everybody else had done the jokes before her and she's the last one to go.
Yes.
And she is known for killing it for that last one. I mean, I've seen enough of those roasts that when she goes that, I mean, I've laughed at jokes that she's made and stuff. So, I mean, it just shows what a creative genius she is in that field. Yeah. But she's like retired recently.
Yeah, she retired. Yeah, she's done with it. Yeah,
and she doesn't look anything like she used to anymore.
No,
she looks like a little old lady now.
Yeah, she looks like a little old lady. Yes, she was this fat, like very full of life person. Then when she vanished for a few years, and now she's like a little old Yenta. Meanwhile, she's Italian, but I don't know. Still Yenta. All right. Let's talk about those roasts. It's time for the main stage challenge, the Rappin roast. Let's go down the line. We'll just go in, not super fast, but like we'll go down and give our thoughts. Joey J.
Okay, well, I want to say one thing first before I go into the list of everybody. We watched it last night.
Yeah.
And then I watched it about an hour. I watched it again about an hour before we started taping.
Sure.
And with closed captions on because I definitely missed jokes throughout the entire presentation.
You need to do it with closed captions because you can't. Yeah. They're going so fast, you can't even tell when they've switched to another person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When they go from reading one queen to another queen, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought Joey was really strong. I did. I'm a white guy on Reddit because I think Joey did the best out of everybody, honestly. And part of that could have been low expectations, but I thought that she kept attention on her while she was performing, and a lot of the jokes were really good. The last joke on Hershey I thought was really funny. But yeah, no, it was. I think she did really strong. What about you?
I thought she was better than I thought she would do, but I never laughed, and it was even on a rewatch. I found it difficult to really get the jokes. Like, look, here's the deal. The jokes have to be able to, this is true for Sam Starr. This comes up on the main stage for Sam and for Joey. The jokes, especially in a roast and anything, I'm sounding like Lori now where she starts pontificating about jokes, but they have to be able to stand on their own. If it's something where you have to explain the joke and the logic of the joke, so for the person to understand the joke and how clever it is or whatever, then the joke failed. And so with Joey, I mean, I guess I can appreciate how sort of cleverly written it was, but even watching it, I watched it twice as well. I watched it half without closed captioning, and then I said, well, I better watch it again now with closed captioning. But I watched it in succession. I didn't wait a day or anything. So with closed captioning, the first time I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. And the second time I was like, I know a little more, but it wasn't super clear to me. There were some very clever lines on everybody's part. Who was the one that called even the closed captioning couldn't follow it, because there was somewhere like it was like, there's no way this person would say that. But they called someone a British cigarette or something.
Yeah, that was
that Hershey?
I think it was Hershey's calling sugar that.
Maybe, I don't remember. But I was like, okay, that's clever. But
mine said British sin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was wrong. It's British cig.
Right.
Which would mean fag.
Right.
So I think that the generative AI, because I think it must work the way that Lori for a while worked for the NFL. And what her job was to basically read the captions, and like in other words, AI would generate some captions, okay, based on what it heard. And then Lori's job was to basically fact check those captions that they matched what the person said. Okay.
Right.
So I imagine a person who was fact checking that was like a British cig. What are the British sin? You know, they there's a couple of them where they were like, no, they didn't get it right. You know.
Right.
And so that's what I think was happening. So better than I thought. I never laughed. Maybe I'll rewatch it again and I'll laugh harder. But yeah. All right. Next we have Jasmine Kennedy.
I thought Jasmine did really well too. I again, low expectations, but I think that Jasmine did a really good job.
I did too, but where she lost big points for me, and probably why I wouldn't have given her the win, is she for the most part skipped Hershey and Sugar. She really focused on the other three, and then kind of did a throwaway line for Hershey and Sugar. She didn't really come for them, and she was like, "Oh, and these two."
Okay.
And I was like, "No, I think your goal is." She talked about half of the song about herself and how hot she is.
Yeah.
And well, all that time you talked about how hot you are, you could have done jokes about Hershey and Sugar, you know. And so she lost that point for me. Next, Kennedy Davenport.
Kennedy was anybody could have done Kennedy's spot. I think the lyrics that she wrote were there was nothing that really spoke to, other than when she said to Jasmine, I'm the only Kennedy. That was really the only one that kind of spoke to something that you do. It was Kennedy Davenport doing it, but everything else felt very just sort of generic.
I actually liked it. But we're doing a lot of stand-up comedy stuff today. So one of the things is Kennedy. I see what you're saying. So Kennedy's, I'm not disagreeing with you. What's funny? Were Kennedy's jokes super edgy and great and blah, 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 blah? No. They're fine. But in stand-up comedy, there's this known thing where like black comics can really fucking sell mid-jokes and make you laugh hysterical at a mid-joke because they quote-unquote slam it with attitude, right?
Yeah.
So they can take a joke and it's just like the most obvious fucking joke. And it's so, you would hear it on a cruise ship kind of joke. But they can deliver it so fucking well that you're cracking up. And I think that's what Kennedy did. She slammed the set with attitude and it sold these jokes that I actually literally laughed. I'm not disagreeing with you that they were mid. Next, we have Hershey Liqueur Jeté.
I think the best thing... Well, I don't get why she threw candy bars at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's just because she was in the season of It's Chocolate. Wasn't it? Or because her name's Hershey.
Maybe because she's Hershey. Yeah, that. But somebody had already made a chocolate bar reference. And then she came out and immediately threw the chocolate bars. But then, like... halfway through her first verse, she was talking about throwing bars like I'm throwing these chocolates. It would have made more sense for me to throw the chocolates while she was saying that line. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like the reveal that happens too fast kind of thing. But I thought that as a performer, I thought that she did well.
Okay. I just put better than I thought, but meh. So I obviously clearly was not very impressed. You know? Yeah. Sugar Cane.
I appreciated that Sugar Cane tried to do a couple of things that were slightly different. Like her, like in that where she did the whole death by sugar, like where she like kind of changed her voice at one point, and then at the end she sort of did like a hit a one note at the very end of her lyric. Mm-hmm. That was just, it wasn't the do 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 do. So it mixed things up a little bit, but it wasn't overly. I don't get why they were saying like it. You know, it could have been meaner. It could have been meaner. I feel like it was at the same level as everybody else's.
No. It was too nice. Way too nice.
No,
dummy. Okay, Sam Starr.
I actually kind of liked Sam's more than I expected to, but I wasn't overly impressed. I thought Sam did a good job.
Okay.
But I mean, again, there's also part of me that I have a taste in my mouth for, you know, ugh. So
well, there's only one guy over.
Okay, calm down. Nothing like that happened, sir. No, nothing like that happened. What did you think of Sam Starr?
Ugh. I didn't think it was great at all. But I will admit that my feelings for Sam Starr could have overtaken my actual objectivity. Maybe I wasn't able to call balls and strikes on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to go back and rewatch. I did watch it twice, though, and I'm usually pretty fair, but we'll see. All right. Back in the workroom, the girls get ready for the runway. So that means they discuss point distribution the entire time. Taylor, what were your thoughts here?
It was the only time where it sort of sunk back into point talk. So I sort of, which I've been doing anytime they talk about point talk, I kind of tune out.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really overly paying attention.
Same boat.
That wasn't when Hershey was talking about her kid's graduation, though.
No.
That was before they went out. They did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much talking about point distribution. Yeah. All right. Well, then runway. It's the category was ladies who lunch. Any big thoughts here, Taylor? I know you're a big runway queen.
I thought that Jasmine's and Hershey's were both gorgeous.
Yeah.
They kind of did the ones that were sort of period pieces. So especially Jasmine's, I thought was amazing from a construction standpoint. Was just with all of the silk in the back and just everything. It was a piece of art that she was wearing. And I thought Hershey looked really beautiful. I thought that the color of the dress went really well against her skin, except, and our friend Bobby that was over was the one that pointed this out, her breastplate was a different color than her skin. And once he pointed that out, that's all I could see. That it was sort of like
Hershey?
For Hershey, that it was like it was almost like a dark muddled color versus where her arms and face and everything were very golden. So then I became fixated on that anytime she was on stage. But otherwise, I thought she looked great. And Sugar looked horrible. That was a horrible, horrible outfit. That was just it was talk about boxy. Like the skirt looked like a cardboard box that she kind of had. Like the only thing missing was like the suspenders that go around her shoulders to keep it up. Yeah. It just was not well fitting at all.
No. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the only ones that look good for me were actually might be just be Jasmine, honestly. And I even with Kennedy Davenport, I think Kennedy Davenport looked really basic, went to the limited and bought an outfit off the rack.
And that wasn't a lunch outfit.
No,
that was going out to dinner someplace nice. That was not a we're meeting to discuss.
No,
the next big quarterly social that we're hosting for the hospital. That was I'm going out with my man for dinner after he's worked after a hard day.
Yeah. And I even wrote like, how are they going to? I realized if they want Katie to move forward, she has to win this challenge. She has to.
Yes.
And so I was like, how are they going to justify this? Which I guess they just sort of, as they usually do with the runway, it's important or not important depending on who they want to move forward. So, that's what they basically kind of just ignored it. So, all right. Any other thoughts on the looks?
No, those are my main thoughts.
All right. On the main stage, the judges named Kennedy Davenport and Hershey LaCourgette as the top two All-Stars of the week, forced them to face off in a lip-sync battle for the extra point. The song, The Ladies Who Lunch by Elaine Stritch, performed by Elaine Stritch. In the end, Kennedy was named the winner of the lip sync and earned herself the extra point and an important advantage in the competition. Taylor the Latte Boy, were the right two queens in the top, and did the right queen win the lip sync?
No, I don't think the right two queens won. We were actually all surprised at we were surprised from an episode, from a performance standpoint. From a production standpoint, nobody thought that Kennedy wasn't going to win this week, just because they want her to go forward to the bracket, and you could tell that just from the way that they were talking about her in the dress, everything that you talked about.
Yeah.
And Hershey, I was especially going back and seeing Hershey's lyrics compared to Joey's. I was very surprised by that. So I definitely think Joey should have been in the top, in the top two, and
that's fair. I don't think that anyone thinks that Joey shouldn't be in the top two, especially in this challenge, is wrong. I'm saying the discussion really is about like, why do they act like Joey J is like Christ on earth now,
Right.
I think it's
Well,
sort
I
of
think
thing
you
where
know the
meme,
answer to that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think the meme and her whiteness and her cuteness have overtaken, and we have to protect this little angel at all costs kind of business that we see.
Right.
But like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I could see, I could see a Joey versus Kennedy lip sync having happened, but Hershey was a big surprise for me.
And what did you think of the lip sync and who won?
It doesn't surprise me that Kennedy won between the two. First of all, I don't get why Hershey came out like Helen Willis on the Jeffersons. That was a very odd choice for me for an outfit. And wearing pants, because pants is what sent her home on her season. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But the lip sync, and I know I'm probably just gonna sit back and watch in a moment, but the lip sync turned into clown. It went from being where you could see what she was trying to do to it just turned into I thought it was, by the end, it was very disrespectful to what is often considered to be a classic Sondheim song. You know, it's the most famous. It's one of the most famous songs from Company. You know, I know nothing about Sondheim, and I know that song.
Yeah.
So the fact that it devolved into what it did was a problem for me.
So look, okay. I guess I'll go top down. All right, let's start with Sondheim.
Okay.
There's a big problem with Sondheim, and this is his whole body of work, that apart from one show, which is a show called Pacific Overtures, which I will say was Sondheim's own personal favorite of his shows, and it's about Japanese people. His stuff is very, very white, and what I mean is, you know, one of the reason that actors love Sondheim and like theater people and sort of like the thinking theater people, why they love Sondheim is his songs not just like in olden days on him, you know, not like silly little tap dance, you know, like he decided to really give like emotional weight to his songs. So before we even get into any of this, like, unfortunately, a lot of his shows and his music and the lyrics, first of all, are deeply ingrained within the context of the shows. They, more often than not, there's only really one or two songs that ever made it out. They often are very, very deeply embedded into the context of the show and what the show's about, right? Mm-hmm. Even "Send in the Clown," which is probably his most commercial song, makes a lot more sense in the context of that show. And this is very true with this number, right? But I think there's two things going on and I've noticed this, and so we're in this weird stage right now where you're starting to see now people of color doing Sondheim, which was very unusual, right? And we're going through this weird growing pain where, like, because Sondheim is writing about a very specific emotional context specific to, like, not even just white people, but white, urbane, sophisticated, witty, sort of
upper class
New Yorkers. Actually, you might even be like it's a very narrow, specific type of that person and their experience. Mm-hmm. And they can draw emotionally onto that when they're performing their songs and all that I think it makes it very difficult, especially for a drag competition show, to perform any of those numbers out of context by itself with two black queens in the roles. I would even say I've been to many Sondheim tribute shows, and they have black people and Latino people and all kinds of people, Asian people singing those songs, and they sing them technically well. But I think because of how specific his POV is in his shows, that often they don't have the connection with the song that a white person has. Here's the deal, though. Let me say this before people say things. I think it's really important, though, that Latinos and Asians and Black people continue to sing these songs, that they continue to put them in the shows, because we have to build a world where then they can build a connection to these songs. But we're still in the growing pains right now, where the viewpoint of the directors and the actors and everyone and the person who wrote them are very white. Okay. And so there's that. Then this song. So I've seen a lot of it. Ladies Who Lunch is really, even though it's very famous and Elaine Stritch, made it very famous and all the things that come with Ladies Who Lunch, I'm not going to even get into the history of this song with the documentary and all that, it's very deeply embedded in the context of company and that character whose name is Joanne. And so taking it out of the context of that show is very strange, right?
Yeah.
Then on top of that, I've seen a lot of discussion online, like talking about how like Kennedy killed it or Hershey didn't get it or Hershey, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And how this Kennedy really killed it because this is a comedy number. I don't think any serious Sondheim person I know would ever call this a comedy number. What's really difficult and why you can't have a song like this on Drag Race is the most I would give it is that this is such a white urbane term to use, wry. The closest I would say to comedy is that it's wry. But you have to understand something. There's a depth of this song, which is, just for people who haven't seen the show, don't know the song, is you're hearing this song, you don't know what they're talking about. This woman has a lot of things happen. I'm going to the whole fucking story of company, what happens in this scene. But she comes to a realization at this bar. And that's when she says, I want to get up and propose a toast. She's drunk, right?
Right.
And now she's that friend who's going to say some awkward ass shit now, right? And she's critiquing. See, this is when you talk about, I'm saying Sondheim songs are not like, Hello Dolly. There's like a weight and a depth to them. And there's, in every little song that Sondheim writes, there is almost its own little play. So there's a beginning, a middle, and end to the song. So the song starts out as a critique of different types of women that would have been in 1969, Manhattan. You would have seen these upper crust women walking around as a critique of them. But as the song progresses, and especially with the actress, you start to realize she's critiquing herself.
Yeah.
And she's
it's a very angry song.
Yes, it's she's critiquing herself, and that she's just like these women, and she's putting on her own mask. And she's and the wit, because she's a kind of like a sarcastic character. All this wit and all this sarcasm and all the fucking cunty things she said is she does it to protect herself, and she's hiding a vulnerability. Like I'm saying, guys, you can analyze this song too. That's what's beautiful about Sondheim. The lyrics and the thing, you can analyze it, especially in the context of the show, to death. And so to have it just appear as a standalone piece on this show with no context, and two people who clearly don't know the show, don't know the context, and they just don't know what to do. I don't blame Kennedy and I don't blame Hershey, but they don't know what to do with this song. And I've seen people criticizing Hershey, and I don't think Hershey did a good job, but I think she came closer than Kennedy did to capturing the song. I don't think either one nailed it, and I don't think either one could nail it. You could get fucking... I would have seen what Jasmine Kennedy would have done with it, but you could probably, honestly, and this is weird to say because this person is not known for being a lip syncer, the only drag queen that I think could have pulled this off, well, there are a few. There's like two or three that I think could have pulled this song off.
Can I guess one?
Okay, go ahead.
Jinx.
Jinx would have murdered this number. Jinx would have murdered this fucking number. Ben, but you know who I else think would have killed this number?
Darian
would have been good too. Yeah. Bianca Del Rio.
Yes.
Bianca Del Rio is actually kind of the character realized. If you guys don't know this show, she's kind of insulting and says cunty things and shit like that. And so imagine a number where Bianca Del Rio is drunk. Now you would know this because you understand the character of Bianca Del Rio, where Bianca Del Rio is drunk and she starts reading all the other drag queens. And then you realize, oh, she's reading herself.
Yeah.
She starts to, maybe she's like making fun of the queens who only have one silhouette or use humor to hide their vulnerability, or they're afraid to go back to the competition because we might find out that she really wasn't that strong. You know, like all these criticisms that people do have of Bianca. Imagine she was singing, making fun of those people. And then you realize, oh, she's singing about herself.
Yeah.
And that's why this song was it was a bad choice for Drag Race to do. It was, Ginger would have done well with it too. It was a bad choice for them to have this song. It's a very, very, very specific song. And I don't think your stupid average Drag Race fan would, not that they couldn't understand it because they're dumb, but you'd have to be very familiar with the show to get this. I think anyone who's seen the show or understands the show knows what a bad choice this was for this song.
Yeah, there's a nuance to it that Drag Race is not known for.
That not only is it not known for, it would be very difficult. It'd be difficult for, like, in other words, let's say, for instance, they had the Queen sing this on American Idol. It wouldn't have worked. Not the Queen, but the contestants. If they had a Sondheim night, like, this would be a terrible song for American Idol for Sondheim. This is not a good song for it.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Any other thoughts, Taylor?
No.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 11. So for Taylor the Latte Boy and myself,
sashay away until next week.
This is a Monday.com ad. The same Monday.com helping people worldwide getting work done faster and better. The same Monday.com designed for every team and every industry. The same Monday.com with built-in AI, scaling your work from day one. The same Monday.com that your team will actually love using. The same Monday.com with an easy and intuitive setup. Go to Monday.com and try it for free. Yes, the same Monday.com.